on. Jermall Charlo defeating Dennis Hogan.
What you gonna do, brother?
Via 7th round TKO. And I was on Showtime, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Just had to, like, I need to add that.
What was that?
Showtime, by the way.
Not over here. It was on.
Still in the boxing business. I was unaware of that.
Yes.
But shame they're not in the ITV business, but never mind.
It happens. But Jermall Charlo, I mean, really, Dennis Hogan had no business being in the ring with Jermall Charlo. Like, honestly, like, Dennis Hogan was a junior middleweight, and it was apparent in the ring.
Jermall Charlo comes up from 154 also.
Yeah, but he's been at 160 now for a year and a half, 2 years.
Well, this is his 1, 2. This is like his 5th fight there, 4th or 5th fight there.
So he's going on, 2 years in the division?
We'll call it 2 years, yeah.
It shows. He's built into a middleweight. Dennis Hogan was brought up after a loss and was at 154 in his last fight. And plus, he is just smaller. He is a true junior middleweight, while Charlo was always a giant junior middleweight.
Big middleweight, yeah.
Charlo's power, his speed was just apparent and evident in this fight from the get-go. His shot selection was on point this time. But then again, Hogan's a guy that was going to give him this fight, was going to give him a TKO win. Why? Because Hogan exchanges. Hogan has a die on my shield mentality, as we saw with Munguia. He didn't obviously get knocked out by Munguia, but Munguia tried. Munguia's not that good. Charlo is really good. And Charlo is a middleweight. And those two things alone were apparently different from the Hogan-Munguia fight. I don't want to see Charlo with any more of these fights. He's on that list of certain guys where I'm just ready for them to fight great competition right now because they're obviously ready for that. They're there for that. And the division's filled with great talent. So why are we still getting these matchups? Hopefully, the next fight for him is a Derevyanchenko or somebody of that ilk. Hell, pull Rob Brandt, pull Moreta, pull somebody that we semi-know and is a relevant top 10 or top 15 middleweight. Please. Please. Let alone a Demetrius Andrade unification, which I would love, and I think is completely available for you guys. No one's fighting Andrade. You guys can take that fight right now if you want it. Pay Eddie Hearn and match him the money. Get Andrade over there to Fox. Make that fight. Okay? I am just so far beyond these matchups for Jermall Charlo. But definitely a really impressive fight in terms of just adjusting from the last few performances. Now, I do think there are significant differences from this fighter compared to Brandon Adams, but I do think that Charlo showed better shot selection in this fight than his previous ones, a return to just better accuracy with his shots as well. And plus, I thought he was far more fluid in this fight than he was in past fights. What the reason is for these changes, I don't know, but good to see the changes, at least, even if they're minor adjustments. And plus the opponent being a made-to opponent for Jermall Charlo. But digressing from that, Gary, I know you were there in New York at the Barclays Center. Thoughts on Charlo defeating Dennis Hogan?
It was the performance he needed. I said last week's show, I think he's going to get back. He's going to have a spectacular performance. He's going to look good, and he's going to kind of erase a lot of the bad taste in our mouth from his last two fights. He really needed a performance like that. His last two fights, the Adams fight was a disaster, and the Korobov fight he arguably lost. He really needed this performance. I thought he really looked good. The power shots were there. I would have liked to see a little more body work because when he went to the body, he had success. It's just there wasn't a whole lot of it.
He was headhunting. Yeah.
He was headhunting a lot. The accuracy still isn't 100% back to where he was when he was at 54, but it was a lot better. He wasn't loading up and missing by 6 inches like he was against Brandon Adams. I thought the performance was really good. I'm not ready for the Canelo fight just yet, but one more. Let's have him fight Andrade. I think it's going to be Eubank. That's my gut feeling, it is what it is. Just don't let it be Korobov again. Let's not do that again. But Jermall Charlo is my favorite fighter, and a lot of you guys don't know that because I haven't had anything to celebrate in his last couple of fights. Like being a Knicks fan or a Cleveland Browns fan, it's like there's nothing. He looked so bad his last two fights. This was the performance he needed. He did a lot of the left hand, the left hook, and the left uppercut was so money all night. I think he needs to get a little sharper if he's going to fight Canelo. but he's back projecting. He's on the right track. Whatever went wrong in those last 2 fights, I think he's gone a long way in tweaking that and fixing that.
I agree. Rob?
Don't have to make out with the guy, you know what I mean, Gary? I mean, Jesus. No, it's hard to say, like, oh, you know, he'd done what he was supposed to do, you know, coming into it, you know, it was never something like, oh, this is like, people were like, yeah, but, you know, he arguably beat Munguia. Yeah, for a completely different division. But I know Hogan has fought at 160. I think he's even fought at 168. But I don't know. He done what he had to do, and yet he done it in good fashion. So I can't hate on that. But just we need to find Jermall Charlo like a name. He's got to fight a name and.
Eubank is a name. He's not a great fighter, but
yeah, but he's now pulling A-side shit, saying like, if he keeps talking, he ain't getting no fucking opportunity with me. He keeps running his mouth, he isn't getting a chance. Well, isn't that what Canelo done to you and you didn't like it?
Let's do the Andre fight then. Let's just make that fight.
He knows where to come.
The unified middleweight champ.
I mean, realistically, that fight does make a lot of sense because neither guy really has a fight lined up, honestly.
Yeah, each other kind of, you know.
And they've been linked together for such a long time from back at 154. So how do we think we play matchmaker, play promoter here, guys? How do we get to that fight?
I didn't send them over. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think that the Canelo fight is next. Unless he's fighting Canelo next, I don't think it's a problem. You know,
Triple G,
here, I'm ready. Here's my deal. You give me, I'll send Andre over. If he beats Andre, you get the Canelo fight on the zone. You're gonna say no to that? No, that's a win-win.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just don't know if they think that way. I don't know. Like, there does seem to be this mindset between these two parties, in particular, the DAZN, Matchroom entity and conglomerate, and PBC and Fox and Showtime conglomerate, that they don't want to work together, like, at all.
I just feel like Canelo versus
Andrade?
No, I'm sorry. Canelo versus Charlo in Texas. It makes too much sense. It's got to happen at some point. Like, it's got to. Canelo's already sold out 3 different venues in 3 different cities in Texas, right?
It will happen when Canelo becomes his own promoter.
That's years from now, but yeah.
When he's 160 again.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I just think the powers that be are going to keep making bad fights because they can, and a lot of us accept it, to be honest. So I think we're going to get a Andrade Luke Keeler fight. Obviously, that's being talked about. That was announced. I think it's official now, right? Is it official?
He's been given the green light for it. I don't know if it's actually
announced. You could pay him money to step aside, though. Like, I mean, you can.
No, you can. But we're going to get that.
Can we try to stay? Positive on this?
The best case scenario for Charlo next is Derevyanchenko. That is the best case scenario.
And you'd rather Derevyanchenko than Eubank, right? You think Derevyanchenko is a better fight? Yes. Okay, just making sure. Because you didn't think Derevyanchenko was so good going into the Canelo fight.
You mean
into the Triple G fight? You didn't think that guy was? You said he was like, eh.
Yeah, I thought Triple G, prime Triple G, should wash Derevyanchenko, and we didn't see a prime Triple G.
Yeah, he was sick 5 weeks.
He had the flu. Yes, of course.
Yeah, Gary's out here trolling right now, saying like the Canelo fight. Poor Canelo wanted to have that fight, but his promoter was like, nah, we ain't doing that. Oh wait, where's your belt gone? Oh, my bad. But no, I don't know. Charlo, yeah, I guess that Andre fight makes sense to me. I don't know. Can you get a Murata? Can you get a Rob Brandt? I don't know. Like ESPN guys, right? So, or seemingly. So I don't know.
Yeah, but they're also like low-level names in a sense, like that. Where you think that you could pull them from a network.
Yeah, so no reason Charlo can't go over to DAZN for Andrade either.
because no, there is an issue. Let's be honest, Rob. I know you're kind of trolling here, but like, there's
Ah,
no argument for Andrade to be A side. To make Charlo come to his network. There's
Who
no
was the
argument
A-
for that.
who was the A side in
Not happening.
Ramirez
They're not
Hooker?
letting him go over there. That's not happening.
So I didn't hear Rob's statement because of you, Gary. What did you
Who
say?
was the A side for Ramirez and Hooker?
Ramirez and Hooker. In my opinion,
Yeah.
Ramirez, but Bob Arum let that fight go over because they got the Saucedo fight. That was kind of a quid pro quo situation there, Rob.
I don't know if that's.
It wasn't laid out that way, but that's kind of what it was because ESPN got Saucedo Hooker on ESPN. Saucedo lost, and they was like, "Oh, can Ramirez fight him?" And like, "Yeah, fight him on DAZN." They're like, "Okay, give us a huge check, and we'll fight him on DAZN," and they did.
I guess maybe, but I mean, the one major factor we're all missing regarding making Charlo versus Andrade is the WBO champion. So
Yeah, but no, it's Showtime, man. That's a Fox issue.
That's a Fox issue.
that's not a PBC issue.
No. That's because Showtime talks about WBO champions. That's a conversation.
That's a production thing, right?
It's 100% a production thing, and it's a Fox production thing. I don't know why they do that. I think it's because, to be honest, totally speculation here.
Showtime need whatever they can get.
Maybe that, but Fox is more of they're angling when it comes to the Spence Crawford fight. It is very clear in the Bill Wenger interview that like Wilder Fury is a done deal, so they can't really talk about that as much in terms of like trying to seem like they're better than ESPN or better than what's happening over there. But with Spence Crawford, that fight hasn't happened yet. There's no deal yet, so therefore they can sort of act like the bigger thing in town, act like they don't exist for leveraging and negotiation purposes. I think that's what it is.
And if they got that fight, if Fox got that fight, they'd get rid of their WBO doesn't count mentality and they'd sell it as a unification fight. Like that would
Absolutely.
Is Wilder Fury 2 done?
Yes.
Is
We're going to get to it, but yeah, it's done. We're going to get to the whole $20 million offer in a second. Don't worry.
Where's the announcement?
I feel like having this conversation for a while that Wilder Fury 2 is done. Like I feel like this
Look,
is
man, if you have Fox, you have ESPN execs, you have Bob Arum, you have Tim Smith, you have literally everyone out there saying it's done, guys, relax. I feel like we don't need to have this conversation every show about whether this fight's done or not. Do we? Do we need to have this conversation?
Just announce it already.
Okay, then go at them. Go email Bill Wagner or
We
Wenger.
could just talk about it on a boxing show. That was all.
Well, what do you want me to say? Everybody involved is saying it's done, Rob, and they've been saying that for months.
Venue? Do you think it's maybe still the venue because that was still up in the air? Do you think maybe
Probably.
the recent Vegas numbers,
Money.
CERN?
I think site fees are the number one thing promoters and networks think about right now because that offsets costs.
Does it not a consideration with ticket sales that both Wilder and Fury haven't done?
It's not about ticket sales, about gate revenue.
Yeah, which need to come via selling a ticket, right?
yes and no. I mean,
But hold on. The Fury fight, the attendance was what 8,000, something like that. The attendance
and I
for
know
Wilder. No, but the attendance for Wilder, just for those who don't understand, are the listeners, right? Wilder Ortiz too was around 10,000, about 2,000 more people, but they made $4 million in gate, while Fury and Wallin made $800,000 in gate.
Yeah.
A Wilder Fury fight in terms of the markup is going to be so high that they're going to make money in Vegas regardless. But as we know, and to the same degree because of what happened this last weekend to Ruiz Joshua, and now we have Oscar out there saying, "Yeah, Canelo, Saudi Arabia, we can go there."
Or Japan, by the way.
Did he say that?
Yeah, on
Oscar said that?
No. Canelo said, "Don't be surprised if I fight in Japan."
Oh, Merida. Ooh, that's a big money fight. But again, site fees, man. Like it. Who's the highest bidder out there in the world right now for this fight? Whatever fight we're talking about, that's where a fight's gonna be likely placed at this point in time.
I don't know about the world, but in America, but
Wilder Fury 2? What do you mean? You don't think Saudi Arabia is bidding for that?
I just don't think that one will go out of the States. Maybe if they do the third one.
I don't think it would, but I absolutely think Saudi Arabia is bidding on that fight. They already did ask. They already did ask Fury when he's in Saudi Arabia. Hey, we want you here. Remember, like that was a news story when he did the whole WWE shit there. So, they absolutely are going to bid on a Wilder Fury 2 fight. That's one of the biggest fights in boxing that can be made right now. I think Wilder Fury 2 is a bigger fight than AJ Ruiz. 9 times maybe money gained, because the money gained from that site fee is insane. I don't know if Wilder Fury in Vegas makes an equal $100 million site fee. But in terms of just attention, Wilder Fury 2 is a gigantic fight. They're getting good bids everywhere. But digressing from that point, because we're supposed to talk about Charlo, Hogan. No, there's some good fights here. I mean, we're going to get to one after we talk about Eubank getting a very lucky win here. Unless anyone else has anything to say about Charlo Hogan.
No.
No? All right. Chris Eubank versus Matt Korobov.
Are you going to pay Charlo some more respect for that performance? That was the comeback performance he needed.
No, it wasn't. It was a comeback performance. Was it the one he needed? No.
It was just against the guy he didn't need.
Yeah.
Who arguably won a world title at 154.
Yeah, but against Jaime Munguia, who we all think is overhyped and not really a champion.
Is just the
Blown up Obali.
A blown up Obali. Ooh. No, Obali's better. Obali's better.
Alike, but that's okay. Yeah.
They kind of fight alike. What are you talking about?
Oh, Obali is athletic. McGee is just big.
Digressing from that point, Chris Eubank picked up a win against Matt Korobov because Matt Korobov blew out his shoulder or dislocated his shoulder or something. But I will say this, obviously, we only had like one round of actual action, but Matt Korobov he was touching Eubank up.
I know that was going to, and you're right.
He landed more shots on Eubank in one round than Witherspoon landed on Usyk in 7.
See, something's wrong with that CompuBox for that Witherspoon-Usyk fight. They were paid off.
It's subjective, right? Like I mean, you sit there to that. Okay, I don't want to do that again.
Do what? Go to a Eubank fight?
No, the CompuBox.
Oh,
the Korobov starts fast. When Korobov fought Aleem, he won all the early rounds and lost the late rounds. When he fought Charlo, he won all the early rounds and lost the second half of the fight, right? So Korobov winning the first round again, and he did. He looked really good in the first round. That doesn't mean that was an indicator of how that fight was going to turn out.
That's not why I said he was going to win the fight, because he won the first round. Because he was
I picked him to win the fight too. We both did.
No, but Gary, hold on. He outclassed him, and he was legit touching him up. That left hand was landing at will to a point where I'm legitimately concerned whether Eubank has ever fought a southpaw in his life. He had no idea that left hand was coming.
James DeGale.
Well, I know he has, guys. I know it's a joke.
Oh.
It's part of the joke.
Oh, sorry. I thought you just didn't realize.
No, I know. Okay, but
I just thought you were a bad boxing fan.
No, Chris Eubank is just a bad boxer. Okay, because again, he looked like he was just surprised these left hands were landing at will, and he was doing nothing to evade the shot, doing nothing to really get in position for his shots. Again, Eubank is such a bad boxer. Like honestly, how is he like the son of Chris Eubank Sr.? Because Chris Eubank Sr. was a good boxer at least. You know, like he literally has like no skill. I'm sorry. I think Chris Eubank Jr. would lose to Emmanuel Aleem too. He would lose.
Yeah, if they fought again. Aleem would be in for sure.
I think Eubank loses to almost every top 10 middleweight right now.
I don't think it's genetic, right?
Matt,
no,
I don't know if you're really old enough to remember Senior. Chris Eubank Senior was really good, really good.
Rob can attest to that. One of his favorite fighters.
With the boxer. Whereas his son's just a fucking windmill.
So bad. And any thoughts, guys, on Eubank Korobov?
I would like to have seen some more rounds of that.
Of course.
Well, not maybe exactly that, because I'd like to have seen it competitive. But yeah, it's a shame. I mean, fucking poor Matt Korobov had the bad draw, the bad result against Charlo.
Charlo won that fight. I mean, there are people who thought Korobov won. Charlo won that fight.
Yeah, okay.
Sure, man. It's okay. Relax. It's okay.
And now the shoulder, he just can't catch a break.
That's sad.
It is, but yeah, I mean, it was ballsy of Eubank. Hadn't fought since February. I know I'm going to go down a division, and my first comeback fight of the year, I'm going to fight Matt Korobov. Jesus, but yeah, I know we can't judge the whole fight off of that one round we saw, but it was maybe going to be a rough night. But instead? Is he now what the WBA something or other?
Interim WBA champion.
Interim.
Fuck out of here.
And Canelo's going to drop that belt, which you know what that means. That means they're going to move.
No, who's the regular? The regular is Murata. The regular is Murata.
That was 160.
Oh, you're right.
You think it 168, bro?
No, Canelo is the WBA, but then the regular would Murata would become the super champ, and then he'd become the regular champ. Okay, so it still wouldn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter, no. And then they would just make another vacant interim title fight.
Who would be the gold? That's all I need to know.
Fuck out of here. Marlon Tapales losing in a really fun back-and-forth fight against Raisuke Iwasa in the opener of the card. Iwasa really having a return to form in this performance. I think his jab was on point. Obviously, the power shots just seemed to be landing at will on Tapales.
The right hook was money.
It was like he looked really good in this fight, and it was a nice reminder of how impressive like a guy like TJ Doheny was in beating him. It just put in perspective Iwasa's last few fights and losses. That no, this guy's really good, and if you've beaten him, that means you're really good.
Well, I like that, right? Because when Doheny beat Iwasa, it was like, okay, well, Iwasa's washed. Well, no, he's not, like, because you know what I'm saying? Like, it does, because Doheny was one of those guys, like, yeah, but who did he beat? And when you say Iwasa, yeah, Iwasa was shot, though. No, he's not. Like, that was the best performance I can think of from Iwasa, and I picked Tapales, right?
Yes, I did too.
It might be a high-action fight, but Tapales would win. I thought Iwasa offensively, he still got touched up a lot. He got hit a lot, which he's always gonna. But offensively, he looked really good.
Yeah, I was really impressed by Iwasa. And again, you know, from the Lee Haskins defeat he had via TKO KO in 2015, he's had a good bounce back from that. And obviously the loss to Doheny in retrospect, especially with Doheny Romana as well, doesn't look like a bad loss at all. And plus, that was a great fight as well. Doheny Iwasa, guys, go back and watch that fight. That was a fantastic fight. It's going to be interesting to see what Iwasa does because, you know, Japanese fighters, there's so much flexibility with them in terms of who they can fight with, what U.S. banners they could fight with. And 122 is a legitimately stacked division nowadays. So excited to see what fight he picks next because he does have some options here.
Louis Neary.
Who's the full IBF champ?
It's Rahman, isn't it?
Danny Rahman.
I would not. Hey, Rahman Iwasa would be fantastic. That'd be a great fight. Not the fight I necessarily want right now, but that's a fantastic fight. Obviously, because, you know, Iwasa just fought on PBC, Neary going up to 122. Yeah, I would take that. And, I mean, Neary has a track record with Japanese boxers that would be interesting to see. Japanese fans hate Neary, so that'd be fun to see.
Over-under on Neary making 122.
Missed that too, right?
Brief point, Emmanuel Alim losing to Ronald Ellis, the brother of Rashidi Ellis, on the card as well. And there's a bunch of other fights on the card, but I didn't see them, and I didn't really know any of the guys fighting on the rest of the undercard.
Go back. You can watch the stream. Watch the women's fight.
Which one is
it was, okay, you got to see, it was 102 pounders, right? Bang Bang Lulu Horton.
Okay.
And Lorraine Villalobos.
Oh, I know Lorraine Villalobos.
These two girls fought on the card a year ago. Matt, you know how we say, like, just put the names aside, right? Just the names and the hype that comes with them. That was clearly the most entertaining fight on that card. That was a great fight.
I'll go check it out for sure then. It's on the stream or like FS?
It kicked off the streaming part of the Showtime card.
It's not gonna be
so it's on like Showtime YouTube then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll go check it out. And
wasn't
it's only 20 minutes because, you know, they're just girls, so they can't fight 12 rounds.
Yeah, they're not allowed to, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it was not geo-blocked, so that was good.
Showtime usually doesn't geo-block the prelims, though.
Yeah, they do.
They do? Oh, that sucks.
Whenever I've tried to watch live boxing on if it's being streamed, no good for me.